Hello. In this video, we wanted to touch on a few updates regarding the security licensing process and the training requirements from the Texas Department of Public Safety. DPS has three license categories as pertains to private security officers. The first one is non-commissioned, which means an unarmed security officer. The second is commissioned, which means an armed security officer. And the third is personal protection officer, or PPO, which means a bodyguard. The non-commissioned license is required of everyone doing any type of security work in the state of Texas to include event security, fire watch, vehicle patrol, etc. With the non-commissioned license, you are only allowed to work unarmed. The Texas Department of Public Safety has done a few reversals on the actual training course for a non-commissioned license, and it's confusing to many. Prior to 2010, DPS had their own online course to be a non-commissioned officer through their own website. That was later taken down, and DPS developed a non-commissioned course manual and test. When the course and test originally came out in 2010, there were no time requirements for the course. Sometime in 2011, DPS placed in a 6-hour course requirement. 2 or 3 years ago, DPS reversed itself and removed any minimum time requirement from their administrative rules on this course, no longer requiring 6 hours, which was simply disappointing. In an industry that needs more training and not less training, we felt that particular change lowers the standards of the non-commissioned officers and provides more liabilities for the industry or the clients who hire the security officers. As such, TCTA did not agree with that change. The commission license is required for any security officer who wants to be armed and/or carry a baton, as noted in the Texas Penal Code. This course is an upgrade and higher level of training than the non-commissioned class. This course was just updated by DPS in late 2017, whereas the course time requirements were increased from 40 hours to now 45 hours. DPS also made a few tweaks to this class, one of which was adding in baton training, which was not in the prior version. To note, the commission class can only be given by a DPS licensed training academy, such as TCTA, and given only by DPS licensed instructors. If your goal is to become a commissioned officer, then DPS requires that you take both the non-commissioned and commissioned courses. The personal protection officer or bodyguard license is required of any security officer who wants to provide any type of bodyguard, executive protection, or personal protection to a client. This is an additional endorsement that goes hand in hand with your commission license. In other words, in order to be a personal protection officer, you must also hold an active commission license as well. The DPS course requirements for a personal protection officer are only 15 hours. However, TCTA has doubled that and is providing a 30-hour course, thus exceeding the state standards. Yes, some training academies are providing the bare minimum 15-hour class. However, you don't want to take shortcuts in this type of industry when your life and your liability is on the line. In addition to completing the course, DPS will require each personal protection officer applicant to submit a psychological evaluation, MMPI. One thing to point out as far as licensing goes is that DPS will allow you to work as a non-commissioned, unarmed security officer while your license is processing, but you cannot work as a commissioned, armed security officer or a bodyguard until your actual pocket card arrives in the mail. Many training academies and security companies are putting out wrong information and telling security officers, as long as you're on file with DPS, you can work without your pocket cards. That is completely false. The private security industry in Texas is highly regulated, and as such, it's actually against the law to work as a freelancer in the state, unarmed, armed, or bodyguard. This means you have to either be working for a licensed security guard company or hold a DPS private business letter of authority form and cannot work directly from a client or individual who is not licensed as a Texas security guard company. You do not need to be working for a security company to attend any classes. However, you must be affiliated with a licensed security guard company in order for DPS to complete the licensing process, which can be done after you take a class. As you complete your training, you'll be given a certificate of completion from a training academy, and you'll then log into the Texas DPS online TOPS account and submit your application, all of which is automated and done online. DPS will require that fingerprints be submitted and background checks are conducted with additional fees paid. Once that's complete and you're approved, DPS will then mail your license to your home address, not to your employer. We hope this free information helped you, and to sign up for more information, please visit us at www.texasofficertraining.com, and we look forward to training with you.